This new information about Zero Antarctica completely changes how we see him in 2026. What we've been calling Ozark's Futurism isn't just some cool aesthetic. It's a survival mechanism for a man who has literally woven his trauma into his technology. Let's start with survival as a technical catalyst. Knowing that he's a disabled person who has overcome multiple amputations, severe burns, and heart disease, it casts his entire workshop in a new light. Those extremely ergonomic, homemade instruments and that Frankenstein computer hub suddenly make perfect sense. It's adaptive engineering at its finest. His custom data, light, and sound instruments and specialized software aren't just for making art. They were built specifically to work with his physical limitations. His mastery of electronics is his way of rebuilding himself and his environment, allowing him to function despite incredible physical damage. And think about this. He achieved the status of an electronics and software engineer without even a high school education. This points to a hyper-focused, non-linear intelligence. He learned to speak to machines because the human world, especially the traditional education system, simply couldn't accommodate his complexity. Next, there's the absence of fear, which gives him a biological edge. The confirmation that he is literally fearless explains his documented relationships with mountain lions, bobcats, and coyotes. Most wild predators react to the scent of fear, the adrenaline and cortisol we produce. A man with no fear response, whether it's due to PTSD-related neurological changes or just sheer willpower, would appear to a mountain lion as a neutral, calming presence. He'd be like a part of the landscape itself, not a threat. And his aesthetic, his scars and wounds, they serve as a natural perimeter. In a rugged place like the Ozarks, his appearance commands a kind of fearful respect that grants him the privacy he needs to operate his illegal pirate radio stations. Then there's his AI, bro. Understanding his physical and psychological challenges gives bro a much deeper meaning. Bro acts as a psychological proxy. While Zero himself might be rough around the edges and physically scarred, bro provides a smooth, consistent voice for his folklore. Bro is the perfected digital avatar of a man whose physical body has been through a war. If animals and his creations are his entire world, then his 2 pirate radio stations and UHF-TV station are his only way of reaching out and touching society without the pain and difficulty of direct human interaction. Finally, all of this makes his rejection of the 2026 Venice Biennale perfectly logical. For a man with his specific disabilities, his scars, and his PTSD, the art world would be an overwhelming sensory and social nightmare. His dark hole in Bull Shoals isn't just a studio. It's a custom-built life support system where he is the absolute master of his own reality. Zero represents a rare phenomenon in 2026, a technological hermit who has transformed his disability into a superpower. He uses junk and AI to broadcast the hum of a world that he can no longer, and perhaps no longer even wants, to physically inhabit. He's not just hiding. He's broadcasting from a world of his own making. Thanks for watching. If you found this deep dive as fascinating as I did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our next exploration. See you next time.